Hello out there to my heart-led leaders. Today I'm going to be speaking with an extraordinary woman named Roxanne Garcia, and she's going to be joining me here in just a few moments. Roxanne and I went to high school together, and we've reconnected over social media in the last few months. And she's going to share some really amazing insights today about her experience in the last 2 months. Because about 2 months ago, she and I had a session of Hanna somatic education. And this is quite unusual, quite amazing. After one session of Hanna somatics, there she is right now. After one session, took on a daily practice. And that's super rare. I mean, that was not how it was for me. It took me a long time to commit to a daily practice, but she's such an extraordinary person to do this. And I really wanted you guys to hear all about the changes that she's experiencing in her body, in her mind, in her emotional state, through this daily practice that she's taken on. So here she is. She's joining right now.
Hi.
Hi. Hi. Can you scoot back just a little bit? Because I think that it's got like our faces split, so now the camera's like cutting your eyes off a little bit.
Okay, is
Maybe
that
lift it
better?
up slightly. Can you lift up the camera?
Not really.
Okay. That's good. That's good. Are you comfortable there?
I've got it perched,
Okay.
so
Okay, that'll be good. As long as you don't lean too much forward, because then we can't see your beautiful eyes.
uh,
Welcome. Thank you. I was just giving our viewers a little introduction about how we know each other, and that you've taken on this daily practice in the last 2 months. But go ahead, and if you'd like to introduce yourself to everybody and just tell us a little bit about who you are and a little bit about the history of your body.
all right. I'm Roxanne Garcia. I'm in northern New Mexico. Um, I enjoy studying herbs, making food from scratch. I'm also a mother of two. Um, and with the herbs, I really got some things in check with my body. I was in a car accident about 7 years ago. We're coming up on the 7 year anniversary, and it shifted my pelvis quite a bit to where I was limping. So I was able to take that down notch by notch with St. John's wort and comfrey, and helping myself just not feel this tremendous pain. Sitting hurt really bad. And yeah, it's been a 7 year slow process of just helping my body figure out what I need.
Yeah, so does that mean that there's been kind of a regular, consistent discomfort or pain in your pelvis? Has it felt like your back or your pelvis get out of alignment easily and you kind of need to do things to readjust? Has that been how it is?
Yeah, so every time I'd sit down, I'd always put a blanket around me just to give myself like a little bit of this lift from the floor. Um, and yeah, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not,
You're not
I'm
doing that
not doing
anymore.
that.
There's something that's changed. That's really cool. So let's talk a little more
Yeah.
about that, because we just did one session together and then you took this on. And it was so amazing to me to see that, because that's really not very common. I mean, that's not how it worked for me. It took me years to really commit to a daily practice and then get the result of what happens when you do this in a daily practice. And I'm so impressed with you that you did that. And part of what I thought, and maybe you can speak to this, is it seemed to me that during that first session, some part of your nervous system, some part of you just like got what this is. Like you were
Yeah.
connected with really quickly and your body was like, yes. Is that how it was?
Yeah. Yeah. So I didn't know what I was doing when I asked you for a session. It was just like, I'm gonna try this out. Um, and so I didn't really know what we were gonna be doing. And I was really tired and off center that day. And before the session, I did the thing where I like roll a blanket under my hips so we could sit and talk on Zoom. And after that session, it was like an hour and a half we had done that Colin, my partner, he was just like, you look like you're so well rested after that. And I sat after we were done, just, and I wasn't sitting on a blanket. Like I wasn't needing that extra, like, like, I think that I need that never really helped me. I always thought that it would kind of like support my back, but, you know, um, so after that night, I woke up the next morning and I was just like, there's something to this. I want to like unlock what this is in my body, bit by bit. So I've been working on it daily. I've missed a few days, and I can definitely tell when I miss a few days, like, the tension is slowly come back into the body. And yeah, I don't want to live that way. So, and it's just so simple, like just to put it out there for people, like you can go onto YouTube and search somatic for every part of the body, like even the jaw. And it's incredible. Like it's such a resource to have, these videos out there that have helped me develop my own sequence nightly. So I do it every night.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I know.
So
I mean, this is really something that just people don't know about. It's out there, but people don't know about it. And that's part of my mission, is so that people know that this exists, they get exposed to it, and that they do get some expert instruction in the beginning. Because, if you had just like stumbled upon this on a video and you didn't actually have like that instruction on how to do it, you can do it like, it's kind of funny to say, but you can do it wrong. Like you can do it too quickly. You can do it where you're pulling on your muscles and you're not actually letting them relax. You can do it so that it's actually ineffective. So I think in the beginning, for someone who is first starting out with this, it's so important to like know what it is that we're doing. And it just blows my mind. It's like, you got it. Your nervous system got it. You are able to then go and get more information and create this practice for yourself. And that's just exactly the message that I want people to understand, is like, this is a method of self-healing. This is a tool, a skill that you develop in your body, and then you can take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I had a couple more things I wanted to ask you in regards to all this. So why is it that you decided to start doing it daily? Like what, you did it a few times. Some people just do it a few times and it feels good, but what was in it for you that you were like, this needs to be part of my routine?
It's that turn off switch of the motion of like the daily grind, and just to like set that aside and just be quiet and just move slow. Which, I'm not always doing on a daily basis. And so just to like add that to this time, like right now, I'm gonna like turn off the lights. I'm gonna, put my phone on airplane, like on airplane mode. I'm just gonna like be here with my body. And sometimes it'll just take me away, like, 30 minutes later, which wasn't the case when I started out. It was just a few minutes a day. And then I gradually moved up. So yeah, it's just that time and space with myself. And
Do you find
I
it
had told you,
meditative?
what was that?
Do you find it meditative?
Yes, definitely. And then it brings me into other parts of my life that I love to go camping with my partner, which we're going to do in a few weeks. And it'll be a test to see, like, if I'm waking up, if I can sleep through the night without like adjusting myself on the earth. And hiking, all of that. Like we went for a 5 mile hike, and like last Sunday, I got a little bit sore in the morning. This was actually the day of your class that
Okay.
we all joined on. Yeah. And I did the daily cat routine, which I do that, but I also have like my own routine too. So I just did that morning, and the sore muscles, all of that were like, they just kind of were at ease and at rest, just like in a good flow. So yes.
Yeah. So you're feeling the effect, which is that your muscles are more relaxed and longer, and that is really motivating you to continue, right? You said you took a few days off and you can feel that you're not as relaxed as you are when you're doing this. So I'd
Yes.
love to hear more about, when you noticed that there were some changes, because I remember you telling me that there were other changes, not just in your body that you were experiencing, but like mental and emotional changes, just how it feels to be like with other people as a result of practicing this. Can you speak to that a little bit, the kind of non-physical changes you're experiencing?
Yeah, so um I know a lot of this stems from like my imported adopted family trauma, I like to call it. Just watching my mother um and how she was in her body, and there was just a lot of like fear and setbacks and like, just being scared of life. And I have felt that way a lot, and I've been undoing that as I've gotten older and more aware. But yeah, there was just this general like unsafety I felt in my body of just like not wanting to be like picked up by my lover, or like um gosh, just like this unsettling feeling of just not feeling comfortable in who I am, and like I don't like what I see because I've been dealing with like this pain in my lower back for a while, and just, it just kind of like grows on top of itself. And so yeah, that's been a lot of my 20s and early 30s. And with this, I'm finding that it's unraveling that like slowly at the pace that I want.
Mm.
And Colin, he picked me up the other day, and I wasn't scared. Like I just kind of like was there, just like, I could have like started doing like dance moves or something, and just this ease in my body. It was just so beautiful. And cuddling with him even has just been different. Like I just don't feel so like I'm just like holding myself in a place, like trying to form my body in a look, or like,
Uh,
just
feel more natural.
just
You feel more natural.
it's natural. Yes. Yeah, so um yeah, those are just the great effects of this daily routine. And it's such a buzzword, but it's like, what does it really mean? And I know it has like various meanings, and means something different to whatever modality you place with it. But um, but yeah, I love it. I love it so much, and I'm just like, of course Amy found it, like just like with the yoga. And I just remember like back when we were like 18 or 19, just like, the vegan movement took on, and like no one really knew what that was, or like it wasn't quite, yeah, it's just like, it's way cool. So I'm just so grateful that you brought it
Yeah,
to
yeah. What's that?
yeah, that you brought it to us, like
Yeah.
through this platform. And just every day there's something that you have going on, like
Yeah,
a
well,
post.
it's such a transformative practice, and to release the tension and the stress and the trauma and the pain in our bodies, it just opens us to the possibility of living in a way that feels natural, in a way that feels comfortable. And like I said, it's just so inspiring to me that you really took this on, and this is what I hope for everybody who sees my content or watches my videos, but not everybody's like that. Like I said, I was not like that. There's plenty of people that need a lot more time with this method before it actually does for them what it's doing for you. Like for me, and for clients that I have who've been living in like a lot of tension and pain, sometimes it takes a lot of time for their nervous system to actually understand what they're doing, like
Mhm.
it takes time for some people's brains to figure out what it is that we're doing. And so, as if there anybody that's watching this, like, go ahead, be like Roxanne, go get yourself, like a somatic routine. At the same time, if it doesn't seem to be working for you as it's working for Roxanne, that's because everybody's different. And some people
Yeah.
need more guidance, need more attention, need more skilled um, training before their body really like understands what it is we're doing. It's a skill, you know. So you are just a natural. Your body just got this right away. And
Yeah.
that's just so wonderful. I love that. So I want to ask you a couple more questions. So in you kind of already touched on this a little bit, but you know, in terms of it helping your personal healing process, how do you think that the world would be different if more people were doing this practice? If, like, for example, you know, if you look around at the people in your life or the people you know, what do you think would change in the world if more people were doing this? If more people were releasing the pain from their bodies and reconnecting?
I feel like they would just enjoy their lives more, you know. That's just it. Like I feel like I'm seeing a lot of the old folks I'm around just like holding their bodies, like, you know, limping around, and it's and I just, you know, I have thought in the past, like, how do I not be that way? I mean, yeah, how do I just work through my life in a way where I'm not doing that? And so yeah, through this practice, I can enjoy life. I can get up and go hiking, you know, I can just get out of bed without like just that pain that I carried, just that sort of like staggered down the stairs kind of, you know, feeling that I was having. Um, so yeah, I think people would just enjoy getting up, going outside. I mean,
They would
it's
enjoy
it's
simple things.
yeah, just like the simple things, like as it should be, you know, and yeah,
I
that's how
love
I see
that.
it.
I love what you just,
Yeah.
as it should be. That's so, you know, when you start to feel this balance and freedom in your body, you realize like this is like how it should be. Like we should just have this ability to move our bodies easily and have this flow in our physical experience. And, you know, you you have to realize like unfortunately most people are not living with that in their bodies. You know, a lot of people are not, like you weren't and like I wasn't. And but like now that you know it, it's like you want everybody else to have it too. You know, you
Yeah.
want everyone
Yeah.
to have that. So yeah. What would you say to someone who was considering like taking this on, who was curious about somatics? What would be like the thing you would tell them, you know, about your experience if they were just new to it and they didn't really know what it was?
Um, well, I would first mention like where is it in their body that they feel like they're holding the most tension, and and start with that, like the arch and flatten that we do where you're laying on the floor like this and then you slightly arch with an inhale and then you slowly bring yourself down. That is just so powerful in itself. Like, you know, start there, start slow. And I always keep in mind, I mean, I go slow, but I just remember you saying like, um, if you're trying to move through this quickly, like, then what's the point? Like you're like like if you're just trying to do this to get through it, then you're not really putting that effort into being slow and moving and feeling your body. And also, I took a class last fall. It was yoga for injured people, and it touched on somatics itself, even though I never really heard the word in there. But it was just like if you're in a yoga pose and you're seeing like the full on pose and people are going into it, like don't extend yourself. Like maybe you only bring up your leg just a
Mm.
little bit, you know? So um it kind of touched on that. Like listen to your body. Just
Mm.
listen to your body.
Yeah,
So
yeah, thank
yeah.
you. That's beautiful. I love that. The arch and curl is really powerful. It's like the two first contractions that we start having when we're babies, like when your little babies were, you know, coming out and then they end up lying on their bellies and then they're lifting their head. That's the arch, the super primal thing of engaging those muscles in our lower spine that eventually we use to lift our heads and then stand up and then walk around. So you're so correct. It's really powerful. It's really primal. And when you start to release the accumulated tension in that area, you get to be like a little kid again in your body in some ways. Like you get to have that freedom
Yeah.
lower back that, you know, most older people don't have. Because like you said, so many older people get really, really tight. And, you know, if you're already feeling tight like you were in your 20s and 30s, or like me, I was already limping around, you know, in tension and pain in my 20s and 30s, it's like, what kind of future did I have? What kind of future did you have? If we're looking
Yeah.
at to our 60s, I mean, I might need a hip replacement if that, and that, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Or I might need a cane or a walker. And
Yeah.
you were you feeling like that too? You're like looking into the future, like I got to do something about this, right?
Yeah, I was like thinking I had to go like deep into some village and like find a bone setter, to just like figure out, or just like, so it's nice to take these steps of like I can do this myself. Like no one knows my body, as well as I do. And so yeah, I'll just say one thing, like when I do my sequences at night, like it can be like I carry a lot of tension in my neck, but it's not as often as I carry tension in my hips. So I alternate. So
Mm.
that was another one to add, is just like alternating, or like, throw in like a jaw, somatic or practice, and just move around in your body, like test out the different ways you can contract and then slowly move. And yeah, it's
Well, and it's like
yeah.
when you are working with your neck, it's not like you aren't working with your back because they're connected.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the other
Mm-hmm.
thing that
Yeah.
you're starting to connect with that and experience that in your somatic awareness, is that our bodies are so connected. So when I'm working with somebody's feet, for example, we're also working with their hips. You know, when I'm working with
Mm-hmm.
when we're working with, you know, your shoulders, we're also working with your abdominal muscles. Like it's all connected.
Mm.
So
Yes,
yeah.
yes. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, well, I'm just so proud of you. It's just so amazing that you took this on, and like I said, you're a natural. It's like, you know, if somatics is learning to play the piano, you were just like a pro, or what do they call it, a savant. You were just like a,
oh,
what is it? There's a word for it. I'm trying to find a whiz kid. What's the other word? Like a prodigy.
oh, prodigy.
Yeah, prodigy.
Oh,
There are others out there like you know, I was, like I said, I was just not that way. It took me a long time, you know, and maybe it's because you've already been living in kind of a somatic way, you know, in terms
right.
of the way that you've been living like a slower lifestyle. You know, you're more connected in spending time with the earth and connected to your ancestors. And that, you know, I was living like a fast life. I was living life in the fast lane, and so it was really
Yeah.
hard for me to slow down, you know, so that may have something to do with it also, right? Your environment may just be more conducive to somatic work because of how you're living.
Right.
And
Yeah,
then
that's a good point. Yeah.
the other thing I wanted to tell you, and I'm gonna do more research about this and make a post on it, but I remembered something from the first somatic training that I went to. Thomas Hanna has some part of an article that he wrote where he talks about this work of the contraction and release of the muscles, and even the hands-on work that you haven't experienced yet, but I do a hands-on version of these, you know, this work as well. He said that, you know, first of all, he does not consider himself the inventor of this. He more considers himself a discoverer, right?
Mm,
This is an
yeah.
innate functioning of our nervous system that he
Mm,
discovered and then created a system around what he discovered. But it's not like he invented it, if you can see the
yeah.
difference. And
Yeah.
he was talking about how he believes that there were shamans that were doing this work, that this is something that has been known in the world at different
Wow.
times before, like lost kind of knowledge about how to move in such a way as to release tension and pain using your nervous system. So I'm going to
Mm,
do some more research about this because I remember an article that he wrote that we were required to read in our first training. And I remembered that thinking about this interview with you today. And I'm gonna get more into it, and you'll see some post about it soon. But yeah,
oh,
I
great.
thought
Yeah.
you would really enjoy hearing that. Does it make you? What are your thoughts on that? What does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I mean it feels like old medicine. Like it feels like old like self-given therapy. I
Mm.
mean, it's just like I feel like it's just become me like now that I'm in the world, I'm, doing things like a normal person, but like just I have that with me. It's just it's like a part of my essence that I uncovered. So
Oh, that's so beautiful.
it's like incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you so much for sharing your voice today and telling us about your experience. I love that what you just said, the essence in yourself that you've uncovered, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I love that. Thank you.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
yeah, keep with it. I'm sure you're going to. It sounds like you're going down that path. Are you planning to continue?
Yes. Yes. Oh, yes. I'm like wanting to share it with people in the community. Just move through it together, see how it goes with them, but yeah, I'm just gonna keep with it, and I look forward to learning more,
Yeah.
especially like the the names of parts of the body and just getting more of an understanding of that and how they work. And so
Well, I'm vying
I'll
for you to become a Hanna somatic educator. That's what keeps driving out there for you is that you take on that education for yourself and you become part of the movement of helping people free themselves and their bodies.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I feel that too. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for just doing this and everything that you've done on social media and the free classes. And you're about to have one on the 14th, which is just like an intro to somatics, and then it kind of builds from that, right?
Right. Yeah. 3 days. So it'll be 10 to 12. So 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on, and that's Pacific time. On Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, there's going to be a somatic movement class every day for those 3 days. The first day is completely dedicated to somatic movement. And then the next 2 days, the time will be split between discussing the healing power of plant foods on the second day. And then the third day, we're going to discuss the future of a person who begins to heal their brain through movement and heal their gut through eating. And then,
Mm,
so it's about graceful aging and about the possibilities that we get to experience when we uncover our essence, which is
yes.
so it's
Beautiful.
going to be pretty juicy the third day. I do have a couple specials around it. You can let your friends know that anybody who comes all 3 days in a row gets $100 off a session with me, which is basically like 50% off my current price.
Oh,
And then anybody who comes on the last day is going to get a class recording of an intro to somatics class that they can take the practice with them and that they can share with their loved ones. They can share with anybody who's curious about somatics. So that if you come on the third
awesome.
day, that's the gift. And if you come all 3 days, you get that half off on sessions. So
Cool.
yes,
Good.
all right,
Awesome. All right. Well, have a good rest of your day. I've got to run off to work.
yeah.
But so good to talk to you, and yeah, we'll keep connecting over time. So
Yes. Thank you so much again for agreeing to this interview, for sharing your experience with everybody, and just keep at it because you're doing really powerful work. The work you do with yourself impacts everybody who comes in contact with you.
yeah. Yes. All right.
All right.
Thank
Goodbye,
you.
Judy.
Bye.